Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining for another session of Azure Power Lunch. And I just want to mention one thing that we will be recording this call and we place our recordings on our YouTube channel. So if you don't want to be recorded, you may want to drop off now. Second, the next week there won't be any session. So if you are in US, there is Thanksgiving holiday in US, so there won't be any session. Okay. So with that, let's move on with our topic of discussion, and that is Azure API Management Developer Portal. So, the reason I want to talk about it, this is kind of a little bit overlooked feature of API management. It's very useful, helps you in kind of documenting, showcasing your APIs, and we are going to talk about it. And mostly there are very few slides, just some couple of introductory slides, and then we will be most of our time will be spent in the demo. So with that, let's continue. So just a quick one, Azure API Management, if you don't know, is Microsoft first party service, which helps you expose your APIs to your consumers. It has kind of different logical pieces. One of them is the gateway, which is kind of the heart of the system that does sits between the API implementation and API consumers and does that provides that abstraction. You use Azure Portal to publish your APIs, and today we are going to talk about the developer portal where you can advertise your API, where you can list your APIs, people can subscribe to them, and you can basically allow users to test them out. You can provide documentation. So think of it, this is like a place where people can come in and see what your APIs you have to offer and what they have to do to use them. So that's that. Okay. So with that, yeah, this is kind of a high level diagram one more time. So um, you publish those APIs in Azure Portal. They can be accessed by the consumer through the developer portal, and developer portal, you can secure access to it through Azure Active Directory and all that. So that's what we are going to be discussing. And with that, we are going to be jumping directly into the demo. Okay. So first of all, I'm going to start with, so first of all, let me go into my resource group. Let me increase the font size a little bit so everybody can see it. So I have a resource group, and in that I have a brand new API management instance. I have just created, I have done nothing with that instance, and this is the API management instance that I have here. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to do the same like the uh, cooking show technique where I will show you something and show you how to do it, and then we will have it in another instance where it's already done, and so we don't have to wait for a long time since we only have 30 minutes. Okay. So first of all, if you go into the Azure Management API management, you see this developer portal. And before we jump into it, let's talk about a few minutes. This portal is generated automatically for you. If you have been working with API management for some time, you may know that there was a classic portal which was there that has been deprecated. This is the new portal that is there for you as soon as you create your API management instance, and that's hosted with it. Okay. And it's your option. If you want to use it, you can. If you don't want to use it, there is no issue there. So first of all, let's go in here, and uh, what we are going to do is you can enable user sign in with Azure AD. So what will this do is you will have to sign into the portal using Azure Active Directory. At this moment, we are not going to do anything. We're just going to see how this developer portal look like. So give it a second and the developer portal will pop up. Okay. And as you can see here, this is currently in the design mode. And what you can do, you can change different things. You can, um, you know, edit text. For example, I can call it here. I can change that. Okay. Um, just keep in mind, save it, and I will explain like how you can publish it as well. And then this is very simple thing. And then you can change the background images as well. So let's go into the media library, and I am going to upload a file. And this is my file. I'm going to go into samples, and there are two files that I have. I can upload. So now I have added the media. Okay, and uh, and this is the beauty of this thing, that they give you a skeleton portal with some built-in stuff, and you can go ahead and customize it. So what I can do is I'm going to say edit article, and this is has stuff in it. So we want to modify this thing. So first of all, we're gonna go into this section. And so let me just remove this stuff from here. So let's go in here, and we can add a new section if we want, or what we can do is we can go in and you know change the alignment of the content, change the image, things like that. And at the same time, if we are here in this section, I mean, this allows us to, you can remove the text as well. So for example, for example, you don't want to show this, you can remove this. You don't want to show this section, you can go in here and you can, delete the content. For example, go in and delete picture. So let's delete some of the stuff, and then we can go back and take a look at them again. Okay. So once we have done that, um, okay, and so what we can do is we can save it, and the next thing is let's publish it. Okay, all changes have been published successfully. Let's take this URL and open it in an anonymous browser. Okay, so I'm going to open a anonymous browser. Here we go. See? Yes. So we have published it. As you can see here, remember the text that we have changed, and this is now removed. So you can make those changes to it. You can update that stuff. And that's how it allows you to. So just keep in mind, whenever you make any UI modification, make sure to save it, number one, and number two, publish it. Because if you don't save and publish in that order, your changes will not be reflected. And you can publish it in two places. If you remember, when we were in here, we can publish from here, or we can go in here and we can publish from here as well. So let's refresh it. It will show you here the publish link once the first time is published. Yes. So you see, it says revision was created and published on this, and you can publish it. Got it? So that's that. Uh, Second thing that I wanted to show you is once again, So we can go in here and we can change the colors as well. So, just some, um, there are some style. So if you want, you can change. So these are the default button. Feature button has this color. So let's say I want to edit the style. I want to edit um, the background to some different color. I want to make it blue, and I want to make the second. Let me just click here and text color. I want to make it white. Okay. So you see that has changed. Let's save those changes and let's go back and look. See, this has changed. So, I mean, that's how you can apply the themes to all over the places. So, this is a very simple um, thing that we are doing, which allows us to kind of change the colors and change images and all that. But once again, you can go in and you can, if you want, you can change all of that information. So 1 second here. So any questions so far? And there is a concept of widgets as well. So what are widgets? I mean, you can add a widget, add a picture, add a text, add a video player, you know, uh, add a YouTube player. If let's say you have some training material for your APIs, you can put that here, and then other people can yeah. So there is a lot of stuff that you can update, and we are not gonna go into all the details. You can take a look at it. Okay. So the next thing is look at the just go to the portal. So by the way, that was the designer, and this is the actual portal. If we go to APIs, you will see two APIs. There's one API will show up here, and if you look at the products, these two products will show up. What is happening is you are setting this up at um, the portal level, and that's how things are showing up here. So, um, for example, if we go back to the portal here and take a look, there are these products, and then there are users and groups. So developer portal, it has users and it has groups. So just keep in mind there are three groups. You can create your own groups. Basically, what you can do is you can create your own group, or you can add groups from Azure AD that you can do. Okay. So that's totally on you if you want to do it. Second thing is anything that is accessible by guest, just keep in mind it will show up on the portal by default. So let's say that you have some sensitive products. You don't want anybody to see. You want certain users to see those products and subscribe to it. How do you do that? You don't assign to guests. So for example, here, if we, once again, I am gonna go back and I'm gonna show you these two products. They are who they are available to: administrator, developer, guest. Let's add a new product. Okay, first let's add a new API. Let's say that we are adding a new API and we are going to use Open API, and let me get the URL to get that API imported. And it's the famous conference API that everybody is using. So we put it here and let's do API and pull, and it is HTTPS. all of that. We are not going to select any product, and I want to show you here. So we just imported this API. And what we are going to do now is we are going to create a new product, and we call it eval, eval product, and this, and it's published. And then the APIs that are available is only one, demo conference API. Okay, we're gonna create this, and what we at this moment only administrators can access it. Okay, so let's go back to our UI and let's see if we can see that product. We can, because it's only accessible by administrator. Nobody else can access this product. So that's how you can hide and show product. Okay. Um, so with that, let's take a step back and let's talk about how you can, further enhance security of the tool. So I have an other portal. I mean, as I said, so basically what you can do is you can go in and you can uh, enable Azure AD Auth. What that will do is it will attach. So if we go into the Azure portal, portal overview, if we enable Azure AD Auth, what it's going to do is it will create an instance of Azure AD inside the sorry, app registration inside Azure AD and link it. So now what you can do is you will have to you will have to sign in with an Azure AD to access this portal. Okay, so let's do that and close. So at this moment, we have configured Azure AD authentication for this portal, and only users can sign. AD auth users with AD auth can sign in. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this URL and I'm going to close it, and I'm going to open a new incognito window and try to sign in here. So as you can see here, this thing is showing up and we can do sign in, but just keep in mind this sign in is not Azure AD sign in. So, and we have to publish the portal as well. Give me 1 second. Let's publish it. Okay. So now let's open it again. Sorry guys. Here we go. Okay, so now it is published. As you can see, these buttons are showing up, and you only see one API because that's the API. We have attached the other API to eval products, and eval product is not published. So only this API is currently showing up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to see how we can give user access those API. I'm not sure why it is not. Okay. In any case, we are going to try one more time and then we will move on to a different portal because I have a lot of content to cover today. Okay, so that's okay. I mean, I think there's some bug here. Otherwise, it should allow you to sign in through Azure Active Directory. Um, but let's do that. So there are two sides to it. This, what it does is, what we have done just now is attached Azure Active Directory, so you can add Active Directory users and groups. As you can see, once we have added it, we can add Azure Active Directory users into here. So what we're gonna do is we are gonna go in here and we are gonna add a add a group. I mean, we can go in here and add an Azure AD group. So we can say this is the tenant, and let's. I think there is some bug. That's why it's not working. So what I'm going to do is I already have another instance that is provision. This is the one I'm going to go in here and show from there. So just keep in mind. Okay. So we go in here and I want to show you. So there is a custom group eval users. I can go into Azure AD Active Directory and I can, you see, it shows you all the users. I can add API readers to this. So basically now I can add Azure AD users and groups in here. Same in here. I can go in and I can add if I want. I mean, this is this is just a user, but I can add assign users who are added into this through Azure AD, and they can access this portal. So that's that. And then there is a concept of identity. So right now I have added Azure Active Directory as an authentication provider. Okay. So when people sign in into this, they can sign in with Azure AD Active Directory. So let me just close this and let me go in here and let's go one more time to the portal page. By the way, any questions so far? Yes, so service, second, portal overview, developer portal. So this is the developer portal, and I'm going to open it in new private window. Here we go. It is open. Okay, so now what I can do is let me try to access products. Okay, or sign in. It's going to ask me to sign in, and as you can see here, I have two options. I'm going to use Azure AD Active Directory. I go in here. It will ask me to sign in, and I'm going to provide my user ID. Okay. And then I can provide the password. Okay. Sorry, I think I entered the wrong password. Mistake. Okay. That's that. Okay. So now if I go in, I should be able to see all the products eval, because the reason why, if we go into in this instance, and in this instance we have products, and the eval product is assigned to eval users. And if we look at the group in Azure portal, once again, we have eval users and it has only one member, that dot Prescott. Got it? So that user now has access. That's why you are seeing now that particular instance. And one thing you may have noticed with this portal, it has been customized a bit. I mean, the background image has changed, the colors have changed. So just to give you an idea, a lot of things are possible with this one. So this is so basically what we saw, the UI customization. We saw the ability to integrate Azure AD, and you can use Azure AD B2C as well. You can authenticate that. Number three, What we are going to see now is the ability to host it by yourself. Let's say you don't want to host it, you don't like the managed hosting that API management provide, you can host it by yourself. So you can use Azure Storage Static Website to do that. Okay. For that, what you will have to do is, first thing you will have to get, so there is a GitHub repo where Azure API Management is hosted, a portal is hosted. You will download it, you will build it locally, and then you will publish it to Azure Static Web Apps. The good thing is that you can run it locally. And here, as a proof, look, I am running this instance locally. So if I go in here, I open this instance just to prove the point. This is running. Look at that. This is running locally. Got it? And I can make modification. I can do all the changes here, and then I can save and publish it to a static web app. And look at this. This is the, you see the address, hopefully. This is the address of Azure Static Web App, sorry, Azure Storage Static Website address. Okay, so I am publishing it here. So just think of it. You can host it, manage hosting, which I think you should be using most of the time. But if you don't want to use it, you want to do your own hosting, you can take advantage of Azure Storage Static Website and host it there. Okay, that's it. One last thing I want to tell you, it integrates with Azure API Management as well. Integration with Azure API Management with Developer Portal, you will have to call two REST APIs, one to get the configuration, and the second one to um, basically update that configuration and provide the API, the app insights key in that configuration, then it will work. So for example, here, let me show you one more time. Where is the app insight? This is the application insight. And if we go in here into transaction search, you will see, yeah, look, all the page views are here. So with that, you can do analysis. You can see how my application is behaving. Are there any challenges? So it does support all of these things. And I have provided links at the end of the document. And just to let you know, I have followed documents exactly in order to do these things. So you should be able to do that. Okay. And the calling the REST API, I just use AZ REST, yeah, AZ API REST. So to AZ REST method to call all those APIs, and that was very simple when setting up the application inside. So that's all there is to it. Sorry, any questions? I know it's a lot of information. I think there is a question in the chat window. Yes. Oh, a great question. So product in API context is just a collection of APIs. That's it, that you are using for a specific purpose. So for example, you may have a eval product and you may have a live product. So eval is just to test it out, which has all the APIs, but with uh, limited use, like you have some sort of metering on that you cannot call more than 5 or 10 times or things like that. Okay. And on the other hand, you have the live product, which you can call as much you want, and you can do monetization on it. So any questions, folks? Okay. So with that, thank you very much for joining, and just let you know that next week there won't be any session, and hope to see you on 30 or first of December, I think. Yeah, 1st of December, and thanks again.
Thank you.
There won't be any session next week, so just want to give a heads up. Have a wonderful rest of your day and a great weekend.